Some things just go together. Wine and cheese, flowers in springtime, and yes, books and bottles. We pair your favorite author with your favorite drink. Your host of Books and Bottles, Benita Johnson.
Hi, welcome to Books and Bottles. I'm your host, Benita Johnson. Thanks for tuning in to our show, which is our conversations with authors. We talk about their works and we pair them with a wine or spirit. So thanks so much for joining us, and invite your friends and family by sharing. We appreciate that. So today we have another wonderful author, who is new to Books and Bottles, but I'm sure this is not going to be her last time here. So the name of the book is Cacophony. So I had to look up the definition, and it means a harsh, discordant mixture of sounds. And that makes perfect sense once you read the book. So I'd like to introduce you to Elle Marie Wood.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Yay, thanks for coming on. Welcome to Books and Bottles. So tell us about you. Tell us about Elle Marie Wood, the author. Then we're going to get into that book.
Okay, well, I'm a psychological horror author. I've been writing psychological horror specifically for, let's not count it up, more years than I'd like to add up.
Okay.
Literally started when I was about 5 years old, and I'm far older than that now. So quite some time. It's always just spoken to me, that subgenre of horror. And I've been publishing since the early 2000s, putting out in the beginning poetry, which is something interesting because I didn't normally write poetry before. It just kind of just came from me and then stopped coming from me. So in fact, as I think about it, it was actually 1998 when my first poem was published. And then that was kind of it,
Okay.
And in the beginning of the 2000s, I said, well, okay, let's do something different. And I started writing short stories and wrote a lot of that. I still write that, but I was really prolific with that in the beginning. And then the novels, the novel kind of tapped on my shoulder and said, this is what you're supposed to be writing. Let's go.
Okay. So when I met you, we talked about your book, and you said you wrote psychological thrillers. So I was thinking, listen, I already can't sleep at night. I need nothing to keep me up. And I am a baby. I don't watch horror films or anything. So, but I braved the book.
You did.
I did. Yeah, I did.
And you chose a good one for what you're thinking. I mean, it's not, so there are far scarier stories that I've written, but Cacophony.
It's more like thriller and suspenseful.
Exactly.
So it really wasn't, I wasn't afraid. I slept well.
Right. Had you read Crescendo first, you would have been afraid.
Oh.
I think that you read the description and said, no, I mean, that's good. I think that you're right. The Promise Keeper is a vampire story that also might have kept you up. But the Realm and Cacophony, book 1 and 2 in this series, it's psychological horror, but there's also a science fiction flair.
Mm-hmm.
And the mashup sort of, I don't want to say that it mutes the horror, but it changes the focus and makes it more about, the actual characters and the storyline that's going on, as opposed to being frightened, for your life or frightened of the shadow. There's like an underpinning of tension that you're going to feel throughout, but it's not like abject fear.
Yeah, and it was busy. It kept you moving from this realm to to another space. So I think I have the book on Kindle, so of course I don't have it up because I had to read the definition of cacophony. But there was like it's book 2 in the Realm series. And so what did you say the first book was called? Crescendo.
The first book is just the Realm.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And then this one is book 2, the Cacophony, the Realm, book 2.
All right. So let's talk about like your characters in this book. There were several. Mm-hmm. And would you say that the main character was Tara? Is that her name?
She's an interesting character. Initially, when I wrote The Realm, the first book, I didn't really know what I was going to do with her. She has transformed quite a bit as I've gone through. It's a trilogy in the end, so that the third one will come out at the end of the year. Oh. So as I started writing the story, she changed. She morphed into something different. And so she's not the main character, not yet, at least, right? I don't want to divulge book 3 yet, but she definitely is different than what I expected her to be at first. So when we speak about main characters, that's almost difficult to pin down in this book, right?
It is, because it's a lot of people, and
Mhm.
a lot of folks have significant roles, and they kind of carry you. Everybody has their own journey, really,
Right.
and then
Right.
so yeah, it
Yeah,
is
this
hard.
is a story within a story, right? I mean, and
Mhm.
even if you want to go further, there's another story inside of that one. So there's
Oh,
3 storylines kind of going.
if you
And
took this one book and put
mhm,
it on like what we know how TV series work, this
yeah.
could be at least 3 seasons. Just just with the different folks.
Right. And that's, I mean, I think that for me, when I read something or when I pick up an author or even when I look at movies, I'm looking for something that's going to keep me thinking, keep me wondering what's
Mhm.
going on, and keep me on the edge of my seat. I love the action aspect of
Oh
this
yeah.
trilogy. And so there's Gabby, who some people think is the main character. Could be, perhaps.
Mhm.
Maybe she's the easiest one
I
to
can
choose.
see it.
Right? She's
I
the
can see
easiest
that.
one to pick first. If you want to just identify it on surface, perhaps it's Gabby. But
Okay.
Gabby's the soul that's being, trying to be saved by Doug, her father,
Mhm.
and Patrick, her grandfather, whom she's never met. And these two are within, the realm trying to
Right.
save her. And
Mhm.
she has no idea it's happening. She's living her life, which has become humdrum to her,
Yeah.
and she's finding things that she didn't know about her family. She's uncovered this manuscript, and now she's reading this thing, and there's characters in there that
Yeah.
could be easily linked between all 3 of the storylines.
Yeah, because that's
So
another
yeah.
season, the grandmother's manuscript,
Hmm.
just
Hmm.
kind of delving in that. So tell us about Mal. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
Yeah,
Mal?
Mal is interesting because Mal has a bigger role in book 1, but
Okay.
I shouldn't have said it that way. No, that's not true. Mal's role is a little muted in book 2, but it's good that you mentioned him at all shows me that at least I kept his malice there, his malice, if for lack of a better
Okay.
word,
That's a
kept
good
it
way.
there because he is quite evil in book 1, just
Hmm.
terrible. Book 2, he's kind of waiting to see what's going on here, right? He's
Okay.
waiting
Because
around.
he didn't seem so terrible.
He's not doing anything terrible yet.
Yeah.
He's
Okay.
just waiting though, and the interesting thing is that Patrick and Doug know exactly how terrible he is, and they are
Ah.
concerned about him. Tara knows how terrible he is, and she's
Okay.
concerned about him, but he's not doing anything yet. He's
Okay.
like this all-knowing, when you think about, it's easy to think about heaven and hell when you read this
Oh
series.
yeah, absolutely.
It's not that. But it's an easy enough structure to go towards that it's okay to sort of, add whatever mindset you have towards each, so that you're looking for a leader. So you would be looking for a leader as in God or a leader as in the devil. We're in the middle. Who's leading that? Well, that would be Mal. So
Okay.
yeah.
I can see that.
Hmm.
So when you start, um, this is a question about your writing process and the
Sure.
character development. So when you start with these characters, do they always finish how you thought they were in the beginning, or are you constantly developing as you're writing?
I'm a pantser. So that typically means that I just kind of write. It's really taken from the phrase by the seat of your pants. So I don't outline. That doesn't mean I don't know where the story is going to go, but it does mean that I have not plotted it out step by step by step.
Okay.
So characters develop as I'm typing. Like I said, Tara
Mm,
has changed. Oh, she's not at all what I thought she was going to be in the beginning of book 1. And it's because I'm letting them organically become who they are. And for me, that makes it so that just like you're reading it, you don't know what's on the next page. I don't either. I know where I want it to end. I've written the ending. I usually write my
okay.
ending first. I
Ah,
know
that's
where I
interesting.
want it to end. And I don't know how I'm going to get to that ending. So, which is very much like life, right? You don't know how you get into your ending.
Right.
You just go. And I
You just
like to see how things develop as I'm going along. So no, they don't. Some of them stay the same way that I expected them to be, but oftentimes there's some sort of a different change that I never saw coming, and I really enjoy that. It's exciting for me and keeps me as interested in the story as hopefully readers are.
So one thing that you did, I think, is really good for readers, and of course for yourself as an author. I haven't read The Realm, but Cacophony was easily enough of a standalone that I really didn't need to know what happened before in order to enjoy the book. And, that can't be said for all trilogies. Sometimes if you missed it, it's too much that you missed. So I'm guessing that was something that you did purposefully.
Yes. And I'll tell you why. It's an interesting story. When I met with my publisher, and indeed at the beginning of the book deal process, we were talking about she wanted to have a series. And I write standalone books. I mean, horror fiction books are typically standalone stories. So I write these standalone things, and I'm like, I don't even read books in series at all. Like I just don't.
Yeah.
And I've never written one. This book is standalone. And she was like, yeah, try to do what you can. And you hear that and you're like, I better write a doggone series apparently. So I took the first book, and that was the one that was complete. And I said to myself, now how can I make these characters and come out, endure for another book or two? What do I do here? And how do I make it so that someone coming in the middle, because you never know when someone's going to find you, right? Something I might have said today might sound amazing to someone about this second book. And if they find me this way and start, as you read this book, I want to make sure that they're not saying, well, I need to buy the first book and read that first, even though I'm really excited about this other story. So what I decided, as a person who doesn't read these books in series, I said I have to make it so that I would pick it up.
Okay.
And in doing that, I made sure that the story was, there's a little bit of history, a little bit of reach back to the first novel, but not so much that you can't understand it. And if I need to reach back enough where there needs to be that detail, I'm going to explain it again. It's not redundant. I'm pleased that it didn't come out. I was worried about that. It's not redundant. And so someone who has read the first book and then goes to the second doesn't feel, oh, she's just wasted 50 pages telling me what happened before.
Yeah.
That's not happening either. So you've got these two pieces that can stand alone but are connected. And it was deliberate, and I was concerned about it. So I'm pleased to hear that worked.
Yeah, because you could easily, like in this book, I didn't even, until talking with you just now, I knew there were two books, but it could have easily been just two separate stories in the same place or time, because the way it reads, it could definitely be disconnected, from another story.
Yeah, it's and the fun thing about it is there are different things happening. If you know what it's like when you're watching like I almost said soap opera, but that's not exactly what I mean. It's more like if you're watching like a 24, like those shows that were like series seasons that happen over and over, but it's episodes per week, and there was an underlying storyline that you had to adhere to, but then all the stuff would be happening outside of it. These books are having the same thing. The underlying storyline is people are stuck in the realm and they're trying to get out. But then the first book has Patrick's deal with getting to the realm in the first place. He introduces us to the realm. He's trying to save his son. And then the second book shows us now we're trying to save all these other people because, hey, it's not just, me up here in this realm. My whole line is impacted. And, Gabby has her own struggles down on earth trying to figure out how to navigate this new role. So I try to make there be different, I don't want to call them just different main characters, because what I really mean is different stars of their own story in each book.
Yeah, and they just kind of just happen to collide at some point. So I like that. So we have our wine expert today is one of my very good friends. She's the owner of Sip and Share Wine. She is a super entrepreneur, and I am so proud of her and her growth. So I want to introduce you to my friend, Nicole Kearney.
Hello, Queen Sister. How are you?
I am great. How are you?
I am well. It is so great to see your face. I have missed seeing your face.
It's been years, but we're going to fix it in 2022.
Yes, I cannot wait. I'm marking down the days. Like, I cannot wait. And your books are like right up my alley. So I'm so excited. I'm excited.
I knew this was going to be a happy man.
Yes. She said my favorite word, vampires. And And I'm like, I'm so glad I have my headsets on, because if my family would have heard that, they would have been like, "Oh my God!" I'm watching a vampire witch series now. I drive them crazy. I drive them crazy.
You know, it's funny. Usually the books that have like, vampires or something like that, I give them to my son to read. And he has to just tell me about it. And then I'll talk to the author. As a matter of fact, he's reading one now. He has until the end of the week to finish it. So I hear you. So tell us about Sip and Share, Nicole.
So Sip and Share Wines has been around as a business since 2016. We started out representing other Black and women winemakers, and actually our origin story, Queen Sister Benita, is so integral in that, because I was trying to get started in the business. People weren't speaking to me, and I found the exclusive Blacklist, an event that she does every year outside of the COVID. And I sent her a message. And when I tell you, she gave me like 2 to 3 hours of her time, like 2 weeks before this major event. And then she was just like, "You need to meet this person. You need to meet this person. I'm going to introduce you." And she did all these introductions. Like, she still had an event to plan. And I was like, "I'll see you." And she was like, "Oh, okay." People say that, I'm sure, all the time.
Yeah.
But I had booked a plane ticket while I was talking to her. I booked a hotel. And then I showed up and she was like, wait, did you? I was like, "Yes, ma'am." Because I was like, I already wanted to come. And then there was just no other better way to me to just show the gratitude. And that is an infinite gratitude that I have forever and ever and ever.
You are just too kind.
No, so you are like, you inspired me to just jump into the business, and then we just kind of grew from repping other people to opening a winery. And
girl, if I was sensitive, I would cry.
I feel you.
I would have a sensitive chick.
Yeah. And you are part of our origin story. So I'm forever grateful for you that showed up, and the other Black women who showed up, and Black men too, and just guided us on our path. So it has been phenomenal. And I love making wine, and I'm drinking one of our wines tonight.
All right. So what are you drinking tonight?
So I'm drinking our Intention Riesling.
Yay.
So this is an off-dry Riesling, made in a German kind of Moselle Valley style, the Alsace style. So it's really good with anything that you're going to eat, your salads, your Thai food, your all of our wines are vegan. So anything vegan that you're going to do, but also sushi, and I say any like salmon or light fish.
Okay. And I love Riesling with spicy foods. Like, that's my favorite go-to. I'm not big on spicy, but when it's like baby spice.
Right. So we do a lot of Indian food, so it's my go-to. We're gonna get Indian food. I'm gonna get it because it's just a good, well-balanced wine, and it's got a right amount of acidity, and it's what I call a porch pounder. So it's great for the summer. You chill it up, but it's good just all year round. And it pleases people. Like, everybody that's at your table, they're gonna like.
Yeah, it works for the sweet wine lovers, and those who always say they don't like sweet. They tend to drink more than anybody. So
always. So I'm always like, okay. But that just means their palate is moving along. Yeah,
their palate, and that's a good thing.
Yes.
So I am happy that I know soon you will be distributed here in Virginia, so I can have your wines as a retailer. And even more exciting, that this year the Blacklist will be June 16th through 18th, and Sip and Share Wines will be there. Yay!
We are coming. I've already put it on our calendar. I've already told my team, and I'm like, we're going to Virginia, so everybody's excited. So yes, we are ready
about that. Yes. So how do, other than at the Blacklist, how can folks purchase your wine?
So our wines are available around the country at select retailers. So they're like a Happy Cork Brooklyn. We're out in Inglewood, California at 1010 Wine and Events. But you can always just order them directly from us at sipandShareWines.com through our website. We ship pretty much everywhere, but about 5 states around the country.
Oh, cool. All right. So since you love this genre book, why don't you just hang out with us for the rest of the book conversation?
I am, because I was just, you had me when you said vampire. I was like, I had already went and looked you up. I'm following you on Twitter. I'm like, how do I get these books? So
Get the books.
you are next. You're my March read now. I've already decided that because I have a February book already. So you are my March read. So I'm here for it. So yeah, I'm just gonna drink wine and listen to y'all.
All right, well, we're gonna cheers, El Marie, to Cacophony. So cheers to
Yes.
book, this book and the other books and the books that's gonna come after. Because you said the third one is coming out at the end of the year.
Yes, October 13th is our tentative date, and that wraps up the trilogy for this one. But we've got a romance. How do I describe this book? It's so strange for me. This is a departure from what anything I've written before, so I'm kind of excited about it. But it's different, right? It's psychological horror / science fiction with romantic elements. That's what we're going with, and it
sounds
really
like a marriage to me.
Yes,
right?
I love that.
Said that basically, but it's a story about life, right? It's a day in the life, if you will, and I think all of those elements really come in. And psychological horror always includes thriller and suspense. There's a little bit of action. It's a nice little mix of. I'm calling it experimental. And it's kind of fun. I was kind of excited that, I was given the chance to have a little latitude to play around with it. I guess maybe I delivered on this trilogy, right? So you said series, I did series, and now I get the chance to do.
Are all these characters coming back?
These characters are in the final book of the trilogy.
Okay.
They are not coming into this other thing that I just discussed. That's going to happen. The other thing I just discussed is called The Tryst, and that begins in February. And then we'll have a
February, next month.
Next month. So what we have is that I'm having a release in October. Usually, it's my horror release, and we've worked out where February I'm going to have this interesting experimental thing releasing. Is that's also a series? I got talked into a series, but that's okay.
I like it. So where are you? Where do you live?
I live in West Virginia, so not far past all of these vineyards that you're talking about. So that's kind of interesting. It's not, an hour and a half outside of DC.
Okay. I've been to West Virginia once. I hung out in Berkeley Springs.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's about 20 minutes past me. Yeah, so that's not that far.
All right. So you got to come on to Virginia.
Oh, that sounds fantastic.
Yes, we do. We'll set up a little book signing or something at my new home and Nicole's new home, the Book Bar. So
we'll
hook you up.
You're going to be at the Book Bar.
Yes, we'll hook up something at the Book Bar. We're putting it in existence. We'll both be on her. And we'll do a wine tasting. That sounds like a whole lot of fun.
That does.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And I do like a sweet wine. I hadn't been a big wine drinker for a long time. I'm just getting into it now. I I'm talking about sweet, like Moscato. There's this other thing I've found. It's called Ruscato, like Ruscato. That is amazing. So I'm definitely a sweet wine drinker.
The thing is just to keep trying. I tell folks, I got married in 1995, right? And so we were balling. We had Sutter Home White Zinfandel for everybody.
Oh yes.
And whatever the sparkling was, I'm sure it was something sweet, like some spumante or something. But just over time, just like just just stay open and just try something new. And so it got to the point where I still like White Zinfandel during the summer. It's perfect, with the hamburgers and stuff. But just keep trying, and next thing you know, you'll be saying, "Girl, I found this Pinot Noir that I just absolutely love."
Yes,
wow.
That's just how it goes.
It does. It does.
So it was a question I forgot. That's just how my brain works. But where can people find your books? The question will come back to me.
Okay, yeah, Amazon for sure. All of the books are on Amazon. You can find them at, if you come to elmariewood.com, I'm going to link you to, which is my website. I'm going to link you to the publisher, which is Cedar Grove Publishing. My first novel, Crescendo, is actually on Target now. So that's so a couple of places. I think that Amazon is your surefire bet, but we've got a lot of different places that we're located now. So that's nice.
So I didn't know you were a publisher. So Do you publish for others?
No, I'm not a publisher. When I say I'm going to link you to the
okay.
publisher,
I'm
I'm
sorry.
my publisher. I'm not a
Okay.
publisher.
Because I thought I had like dug out up in your business, and I didn't remember reading it.
No, I don't know. I can't even imagine getting into that business. I mean, I'm an educator, but I'm not a publisher. I can't do that one.
Okay. I hear you. I would imagine it takes a lot. You know, we could talk to my esteemed boss. He's a publisher, and so I'm sure it's a whole lot going on. But I really appreciate you being here and sharing your book. And, you know, just being honest, when I met you and you said it's a psychological thriller, I'm like, oh, Lord. But
I find that I have to tell people up front that I write psychological horror, because I don't want you to fall into it and then something scares you and you're like, she didn't tell me. You know what I mean? I've had it happen before, because psychological horror, and like very much like quiet horror, is kind of deceptive. I mean, it's not gore and blood and all of this, but that doesn't mean it's not going to scare you. So I always want to make sure that I tell people up front.
Well, it was fun. I enjoyed reading it, and I encourage our viewers to pick it up. Check out Amazon. Go to El Marie's website, but pick it up. It's a wonderful book. So before you ladies go, I want to talk about an event that I'm doing in June 3rd through 5th. June's going to be a busy month for us in Richmond. June 3rd through 5th, I am producing a writer's retreat. So if you're a writer, a publisher, an editor, an illustrator, you like reading, this is the place for you. It's going to take place in Norfolk, Virginia at the Marriott Waterside. So if you're inspired by water, you have that. On the other side, you have the city. If you're inspired by watching people in the mall, there's a mall 3 blocks away. So there's a lot going on, but then again, there's time for reading. So it starts the 3rd, which is a Friday evening. We kick it off with a workshop, and then we have a reception so everybody can have a good time. It is a Books and Bottles event. So yes, there will be beverages there as a part of the experience. So check out our website at therightaway.net and register to reserve your space. And if you're an author and you like to be on Books and Bottles, please email us at info@grose.com. That's Grose Production, short for production.com. And just let us know. Send us your book, and we'll get back with you with a date and time for the show. Again, ladies, I so appreciate you being here. Remember to share with your friends about Books and Bottles, all right?
Absolutely.
Okay, ladies.
Absolutely.
People can actually see the cover.
Yes, we love that cover.
It's just so, it just says everything right here in the middle.
Everything.
Beautiful. I love it. So
Thank y'all so much. And we will see you next week on Books and Bottles. Cheers.
Camped out at home for COVID? Join us, Indie TV, where you will see the talk shows, movies, drama, action, and comedy. Be the first and see it first. Sign up now for free at Indie TV.